What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's midday market recap. Got a good special one for you today on today's topic on selling strategies. And yeah, the title says best selling strategy, but that's probably because it's my selling strategy. It might not be yours. It might not work for you, but it is how I find success in trading this crazy, chaotic world that we call over-the-counter pennies. Hence, my channel name is Own the Chaos. So first of all, welcome. So if you're visiting for the first time, hopefully I earn your subscription by the end of this video. And if I give you some insight on maybe how to change up your selling strategy, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up to show some additional support. What this channel is about over-the-counter penny stocks. I literally have searched high and low. I am the only YouTube channel out there that focuses primarily and specifically on over-the-counter pennies. So if you're looking for more information on how to trade these crazy volatile stocks, well, this is it for you on YouTube. So subscribe, and maybe you might find some success trading this crazy volatile world that is the OTC. So I'm going to welcome a few folks in here. What's going on, Arm Trader? Papa Wolfegg, see some familiar faces and some new ones here as well. Christopher Robinson, that can't be real. Michelle Holly, Jason Smith, Abdul. What's going on, guys? So talking about IGC. Now, IGC was one we played towards the end of the day today. Or not, I'm sorry, the end of the day on Friday, I should say, or beginning of the day on Friday, end of the week. Gosh, I can't talk today. And it skyrocketed, right? Because they won an appeal to uplist back to the New York Stock Exchange. And that is always a major catalyst. When something gets delisted down to the OTC, always a bad thing for any stock that gets knocked off the NYSE. But they won their appeal, were able to relist on NASDAQ, and that is always a major catalyst. Really, any kind of stock that gets uplisted, period, to the NYSE from the OTC is always a significant catalyst. And we observed this and got in very early on this stock, well below $1. And so there was a lot of confusion because this thing ran almost 600% from its lows on Friday into Monday, and then there was a slight sell-off, or a pretty significant sell-off, I should say, on Tuesday, which was yesterday. And I kind of want to explain my selling strategy with this, why I decided to sell the rest of my position, what I did to protect my initial investment, because the number one key to selling any penny stock, as far as how I find success, is protecting that initial investment. That's the very first priority for me, is to protect that initial investment. We always talk about buying, and when you buy into a stock, you're not going to take everything that you planned on using for that particular position and throwing it all in one shot, right? And so it's kind of the same thing with selling. You're going to get to a certain point, especially with as volatile as these stocks run. And I was talking to my morning mentorship folks about this morning. It's like it could run like crazy, and you're up what 500-600%. You go to take a dump or make a coffee, whatever. You come back, and then all of a sudden all your profits are gone, and you're like, what the hell? Now I'm red. That's the reality of how volatile these penny stocks can be. So what I always try to encourage people to do is at least protect that initial investment. So what I look for typically, that your strategy may be a little bit different depending on your risk tolerances and that sort of thing. But typically when I'm looking at something that has potential, I'm looking for it to at least double my position or more. And then once that does double, I'm going to protect my initial investment by selling half of that. So when I sell half of it, that means that everything that I put into it so far, as far as capital is concerned, I'm now taking out, and then I'm writing free shares. So now I'm basically playing with house money at that point, and that whatever I sell that stock at is still going to be 100% profit when I go to sell. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you on how I was able to identify my selling point, why I decided to get out, and how I actually learned from, this particular trade, and how I probably could have maximized my trade even more. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick here. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to show you, this is WeTrade HQ. If you guys aren't familiar with this, if you're visiting my channel for the first time, this is my platform that I've created with my partner, Jake. It's actually really useful. It's absolutely free to join. It's at WeTradeHQ.com. I'm doing some technical analysis here right on our platform for free, talking to some of my friends about IGC as well as some of our other mentors too. And so IGC was IGCC, got uplisted, and then ticker symbol changed to IGC. One of the things that one of the key takeaways here is what I always kind of like actually didn't practice what I usually preach here, is that when you buy into something, you know, my buying strategy on stocks, especially with IGC and anything that has a particular event. So you're buying in the IGC and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to hold past this uplisting because maybe more money will start coming in. And this was a little bit of a curveball for me because I was like, well, you know, maybe when it does get into NASDAQ, there will be more NASDAQ money that comes in, and this stock could react differently than what I'm used to when I'm just trading regular OTCs. So oftentimes when I buy into a stock, I'm buying into something because I'm expecting some sort of event to take place, whether it be a custodianship, a merger, anything. Maybe it's a major marketing event, something like that. So the key is to buy something, you get into something at a low point before the event happens, and then I sell into that event. And most of the time, you know, on a typical catalyst, I'm selling into that event, and then I'm completely out before the event even comes, because more times than not, there's a major sell-off after the event. So a good example of this would be a BCCI, the ticker symbol BCCI. So I should have pulled this up and I didn't, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. So BCCI was a good example of this. And so I want to just kind of look at this and show you what I mean and how this selling into the event occurs. So BCCI is a Baristas Coffee Company. They were announced that they were actually having a marketing event at the Super Bowl back in early February, and it ran all the way up into the event. And you can almost exactly tell without me even telling you when the Super Bowl was and when the Super Bowl was over. So if you're looking at this huge giant red candle and you said that must be the Monday after the Super Bowl, you were right, because that is what happens. So oftentimes when, you know, the history of a lot of these stocks, when there's some sort of event that gets created, you know, that would be a catalyst, it usually runs into that event, and then you'll see a major sell-off. And that's what happened here. It ran, you know, hundreds of percents, you know, into the event that was the Super Bowl, and then it had a major sell-off. I mean, this particular day, it dropped over 50%, you know, prior to that Friday. So I should have known better. But here's the thing. I was looking at the chart here on Monday and even Tuesday, and I said, okay, looking at the previous supports here before it got delisted, you know, I had this crazy run up and then got delisted. So before it had that crazy run up, the support here looked like it was pretty strong around the 240s. And if it decided to drop into below 240, then I'd have a decision to make. And so that's what happened. It dropped below 240s, and I was like, you know what? I could have maximized my profits even more if I just sold into the event like I always do. But I wanted to at least protect the profits that I did have, and so I did. And everything that I sold yesterday, when this you know, sell-off started to happen, all that was still just profit. My initial investment I had protected way back on Friday because I had doubled my money by getting in well under $1. And so this is some of those key takeaways of a selling strategy, is that you're going to want to sell into an event whenever you're looking about selling strategies and stuff like that. And not only that, but most of the time, especially if you have a larger position, you're probably going to want to sell that in chunks or intervals. As it's running into the event, you're not going to want to sell it all in one shot. Most of the time, it doesn't work out that way for liquidity purposes and whatever else. So you're going to sell on the ask price. One reason for that being is that, you know, you're going to maximize profits that way, and you're not going to completely stunt the momentum on a run. If you start whacking on that bid price, it really stunts that run. And actually, not only does it hurt other investors, but it hurts you too, because it hurts your potential for maximum profit. It hurts your potential to get out cleanly So meaning that, like, if you start whacking on a bid like that, especially if you have a larger position, you could start to create, you know, the momentum. You could start to stunt that momentum, and then it creates, people stop buying in. Basically, you're going to stop that volume and that liquidity from coming in, and so it's going to be more difficult for you to get out the more you start whacking on that bid. There's certain cases where it may be appropriate to just get on the bid and get out. But when something's running like that on a positive catalyst, that's usually not the time to do it. So you're going to want to go ahead and get and sell on that ask price as that stock is running on that catalyst, and make sure you're pretty much completely out before that event comes. There are rare instances where a stock will run after an event, especially if it's extremely successful, whatever that event is. But so if you wanted to maybe chance it a little bit and, keep some of your position in to see what happens after that event, that's your prerogative, whatever your risk tolerance is based off of that. So, that's just kind of like a key takeaway. And what I learned, from that stock on that trade on IGC, even though I was extremely profitable in IGC, I still left money on the table. And so I just kind of wanted to explain to you my thoughts and my, sentiments and what I learned on that, even though it was a great trade by anybody's standards. It was a great trade. It just, there was still a lot more to learn, and I left a lot on the table. And I just kind of want to explain to you guys why that is, and what the typical strategy is for selling out of a penny stock when stuff like that happens. So Michelle's asking, what do you see IGC doing now? I think IGC is probably just going to stay where it's at until we experience some sort of other catalyst. Maybe IGC comes out that they're doing something else. Maybe they were holding back some particular press releases until they got this appeal taken care of. So there may be other opportunities to make money on IGC. I'm not saying that it's not going to continue to run, but for me in particular on that specific trade, I should have been able to react to it a little bit better. But as it's starting to sell off now, there may be other opportunities to get in because of maybe it's going to be oversold coming here shortly. It looked like it was under $2 now, as I looked at it last before I went live here with you guys. And if it gets to that point and there's another catalyst coming out that maybe, like I said, they were withholding until they got this appeal process taken care of, and now they're being traded on the New York Stock Exchange again, maybe this lends other opportunities for IGC to perhaps start going back up in price. I mean, remember, before they got delisted, they were priced up well over $10 a share. So maybe they got something in the works, but your guess is as good as mine with that one. That's just going to have to be a risk that you might be willing to take if you're looking at this from a chart perspective and say, okay, this looks oversold. Maybe they got something in the works and I'm willing to take a chance on IGC. When doing fundamental DD, would you ever talk directly to a CEO? So I've done that. Good question, Jason. I've done that. I've actually called CEOs in the past, and here's what I've learned. So when I call a CEO and I ask them about their company, and we just had this conversation within our free Discord chat, by the way. So if you want to check that out, links are in the description. But somebody asked me a similar question, and so I kind of view talking to a CEO of a company like talking to a parent of a child. And I asked them how cute they think their kid is. And what's their typical response, right? Well, they're the cutest kid in the room, or they're the cutest kid in the world. There's no kid or no child that is cuter than my child, right? Every parent's going to say that. And so that's the same thing with a CEO. The CEO is going to give you their biased opinion about their company because that's their baby. That's their company. They're going to give you all the good things about it. They're not going to tell you, though, that, oh, yeah, my kid wets the bed every night, or, they're a rebellious teenager, or all this other stuff, So they're going to give you all the good things about their company. They're rarely going to tell you anything that's going wrong with it, or that they have tons of millions of dollars of dilutive debt and all this other stuff. So take that for what you will as far as the CEO is concerned. But, it's just... I really don't see calling a CEO and asking about the company is really a waste of time at the end of the day. It was a long answer to a short question, but I kind of like to equate that, the way a CEO treats their company to like how, parents view their children, or maybe a you might view your dog as the cutest dog in the world, but it might be ankle biting Chihuahua that nobody thinks is cute. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're visiting for the first time, you've never been to my channel, I certainly would appreciate a subscribe and a thumbs up to show my channel some further support. You guys are the reason that I wake up every morning. And so it's been my dream to kind of really have this take off, and not only from YouTube, but also with WeTrade HQ. Being an entrepreneur and having a successful business means everything to me. And so if you guys are interested in checking out WeTrade HQ and you want to be a part of a community of 4,000 people that are learning and growing in the stock market, not just with penny stocks and OTCs. Obviously this channel is focused on that, but WeTrade HQ was designed not just for penny stock people, but for anybody who's trading anything in the stock market. We have mentors that are available for you to resource that are specialized in their specific niches within the market. So if you want to check them out, they're there as well. And it's at WeTradeHQ.com. The links are down in the description below. I highly encourage you to check it out. It's absolutely free to join and sign up. And if you want, I'm wearing one of my shirts today. If you want to be, if you want to take on one of these shirts, you want to purchase one of them, those links are down in the description as well. If you want to check those out. This is probably one of my favorite ones. This is a meme that somebody created of me. That is actually, here it is. Whoop, that is my face. And it says buy the effing dip. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. It's just something fun that we do. So feel free to check that out, guys. That is it for me. I will see you actually this evening. I have something special for you. Please make sure that you tune in tonight for my live podcast with Cass and Brand. They are also fellow YouTubers. Guys, they are so passionate about their business, and they have such a strong entrepreneurial mind. They literally slept in their car while they were trying to build their business. Such an amazing story. So please tune in tonight. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a story that you're not going to want to miss. I'm super excited to interview them tonight. So guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much for joining. As always, I will see you all before the bell. And B Smith is out. Have a good one.